Packard Laboratory is a familiar and iconic building on the campus of Lehigh University. It stands as one of the main buildings on the campus center walkway, a picturesque example of Gothic architecture that rivals such buildings as the University Center and Packard Memorial Church. Construction of the building was completed in 1929, the product of a generous $1.2 million gift by James Ward Packard, a Lehigh graduate and automobile engineer. Packard is best known for his Packard Motor Company, and the cars produced by this company gained the reputation for being the finest luxury cars in America at the time. In fact, Packard Lab houses Packard's first automobile model, called the Ohio Model A, in its lobby. The car was donated to the university at the time of the building's dedication in 1930. For the construction of Packard Lab, Packard wished the building to be a combination of functional utility and artistic beauty, as stated in the book Lehigh University, A History of Education in Engineering, Business, and the Human Condition. Packard did not live to see his design come to life. However, in the lobby lies a plaque commemorating his words after giving his donation, which says, "In partial repayment of my debt to my alma mater." Packard Lab is home of the Rosen College of Engineering and Applied Science. In fact, the original design of the building dictated two wings, one for the electrical engineering department and the other for mechanical engineering. Professor Richard Decker speaks a little about this design. Decker received his master's in physics and his PhD in electrical engineering at Lehigh, and now serves as a professor of electrical and computer engineering at the college.
The building was originally half mechanical and half electrical, and it still is basically. But now we have computer science and computer engineering also in the building. But one of the statues, there are two famous guys in science. One is, I think, Newton, who invented a steam engine, and the other guy is Maxwell. Of course, Newton's for mechanical and Maxwell's for electrical. Right. So I think they have the names on them, but you come down the front path, you'll see these two guys, and that's their side of the building and our side of the building. So the numbers of the rooms in the building are really weird because, like, this is 208, and 258 would be like the mirror, well, let's see, 208 is next door, this is 206, but 258 is the mirror image on the other side. So the lower numbers on every floor, of course this would be the second floor, the lower numbers up to 50 are on the EE side of the building, and the higher numbers starting at 50 on up to 300 are on the other side of the building. So when you're looking for a room, if you're in the 200s on this side and you're looking for a number above 250, it doesn't make any sense. You can't find anything. So you have to tell people about the numbering scheme for the building.
Most Lehigh students will take classes and attend events in Packard Lab, making it one of the most well-known buildings among the student body. However, few know the history and the character behind this building. Professor William Haller, Lehigh class of 1972, had a lot of interesting stories to share about the building. Haller began classes at Lehigh in 1968 and graduated with 3 degrees, a bachelor's in electrical engineering, a bachelor's in engineering physics, and a master's in electrical engineering. He returned in 2000 to teach. While at Lehigh, Haller took most of his classes in Packard Lab. He even admitted to often sleeping in the building's elevator when he was up late studying. Naturally, he knew all of Packard Lab's secrets. For instance, spiral staircases and dumbwaiters in Packard? Who knew?
Okay, interesting story. You know, back in the day, and when I say back in the day, back when I went to school, Lehigh used to have clocks with bells.
Okay.
And classes started when the bells rang. And so professors would get up and lock the door, preventing you from coming into class if you were late. And you had to basically sit outside the door and listen very attentively and take notes. And we had a little secret passageway up into both 466 and 416. These are lecture rooms upstairs where most of our classes were, our lecture classes. And the spiral staircases started on this floor, and you could spiral your way up, and then we had a secret knock which I still remember today, and that would be the knock for, we always had one person in the back of the class right next to the door to let latecomers in when the professor had turned his back and he was writing on a blackboard. And there are also dumbwaiters in this building. People don't know that. But the spiral staircases are still in existence today, but unfortunately they've been used to as conduits for air conditioning, ducts, and electrical work. So you can't really climb up the staircases as you used to.
Another little-known fact involves one of the building's 2 elevators.
The elevator on this side of the building is very old. It's the original elevator.
Oh, really?
But the elevator on the other side is fairly new. And there's actually a couple of murals in the elevators that people have painted.
That's cool.
About professors.
Along with its quirks and secrets, Packard Lab is home to high-tech work labs in which Lehigh professors have conducted famous research for products we use in daily life today.
Carl Holsinger. He invented theft detection systems. Actually, he did a lot of the work here at Lehigh, up in his office and in the lab. The theft detection systems that originally were designed for books in the library, and they actually had a magnetic strip in the binder. He then went on to invent the very inexpensive tags that you have on clothes today.
All in all, Packard Lab is an incredible building with a unique history, and its role on campus is still evolving. Decker suggests, however, that the building might need an update.
Well, Packard is not as modern a building. I mean, it hasn't been a modern building for years. And I think what has happened over the years has been, we used to have a lot of classrooms. Packard used to be almost all classrooms. And now they've made it into people's labs and into offices for different departments. And we have a dean's office and several secretaries. So there's not as many classrooms. So we would have to go outside for classrooms, stuff like that. Whereas what I'd really like to see is a new science building or new engineering building for electrical engineering and mechanical engineering. But we really need to compete with schools we want to compete with. We need a very modern building, a good science building, which, you know, the STEPS could have been that, but STEPS is for biology and some of the other things. So Packard is kind of an icon. It's like a beautiful, beautiful campus building, and what they need to do is update it and maybe make it for classrooms, but we need to have a better research building.
Let's just hope that if an update does take place, it does not detract from the rich history of Packard Lab.